About 3 videos back, if you look in my video list on my YouTube channel, I installed this speedometer tach on a 2009 Harley Davidson Softail Custom. But because of the length of that video, I wasn't able to show you how to set up or configure this speedometer. So in this video, that's what I'm going to do, is I'll show you how to set this up. So I guess this is kind of a continuation of that first video. The part number for this is 7090070A, and to configure or set up the speedometer tach, there's 2 things you need to manipulate on the bike. One is this reset trip switch on the side here, and the other thing is the ignition switch right here. There are 8 different things you can change on the speedometer tach. 2 of those 8 things you can turn on and off, and they are the fuel indicator and the gear indicator. There's a third thing called the brightness, which you have 2 options, either high or low. And then the other 5 things you can change the color. Those 5 things are the LCD display, the dials, the needle for the speedometer, the needle for the tach, and then the 5th thing is an all option, which will let you change everything to one single color. The colors are represented by numbers. You have 601 different numbers, so there's 601 different colors. There's a range for each color. For example, red is 0 through 15, and I think it's listed also in the higher numbers. I don't know why they did that, or maybe it's a typo, but anyway, I'm not going to list all the different colors in this video, but I'll put a chart in the description below this video so you can see what your color options are. There are 2 things that you need to manipulate to set up this speedometer tach, and they are the trip reset button here on the side and the ignition switch. I'm going to be switching the ignition switch from off to accessories and back and forth. I'm not going to show these 2 things in the video because I want the speedometer to take up the whole video so you can see what's going on, but I will be referring to these 2 things by name so you know what I'm doing. So to enter into the setup, you just press in the trip reset button here and then turn your ignition switch to the accessory position. And you can see here, hopefully you can see this on the camera, I entered in the setup. I'm in the setup mode, and it's indicated by the word setup here, and my first option is my fuel indicator, which you can see here in the LCD display, and the on indicates that the speedometer tach is set up to display the fuel indicator. If I wanted to turn that off, I would turn the ignition switch to off and then back to accessory, which I'll do right now. And you can see it turned it off, but I want that to be displayed, so I'm going to go back down and turn the ignition switch to off and then back to accessories, so my fuel indicator will be displayed. So to go to my next option, I would click the trip reset button, and my next option is whether or not to display the gear indicator. I would change that the same way I changed the fuel indicator. I want that to be on, so I'm going to go to the next option. Next option is the brightness. I have 2 options, either high or low. High is indicated by all these bars. If I want to change it to low, I would go to the ignition switch, switch it off, and then back to accessory. And the low setting is indicated by it cuts the bars in half. I want that to remain high, the brightness to be high for this video, so I'm going to go back and change it to high. To go to the next option, click the trip reset button. This is the all option. I have the option of changing everything to one color. To change the color, just go to your ignition switch, switch it to off, and then back to accessory. Takes you to, shows you the number of the color that's being displayed now. It's number 17. Let's change it to a green. I think green is like around 102. So you change the color by clicking the trip reset button, and if you hold it in, you can go a lot faster. Let's go up to 102 or around there. and leave it there. To save that, you just click the ignition switch to off and then back to accessory. It will say saved, and then you can go on and change something else. To go to the next option, click the trip reset button. This is your dial color option. You can see the color changing of what part of the speedometer will be changed. Let's change the color of that to, I don't know, something. To change the color, turn the ignition switch to off and then back to accessory. I'm at 101. Let's go to, let's change that to blue. That's 251 or around there. So hold the trip reset button in. And leave it there. Turn the ignition switch to off and back to accessory, and it's saved. And for the next option, click the trip reset button. This is your LCD display. Let's change that to yellow. I think yellow is around 32. Turn the ignition switch to off and then back to accessory. You can see your number there. So what did I say, 102? No, 32. The problem with this changing these numbers is you can't go backwards. So I've got to go all the way up to 600 and then restart over and stop at 32 or around there. And we'll leave it there. To save it, click the ignition switch to off and back to accessory, and the LCD color is saved. And for the next option, click the trip reset button. Speedo, that's for the color of the needle for the speedometer. Let's change that. Click the ignition switch to off and back to accessory. I'm at 101. Let's stay close to that. Let's go to green blue, which is 181. So to change the color, click the trip reset button, hold it in to go fast. Let's go up to about 180. About right there, and we'll save it. To save it, click the ignition switch to off and back to accessory, and the color for the speedometer needle is saved. And for the next option, click the trip reset button. That's tack. That's for the color of the tack needle. Let's change that. To change it, turn your ignition switch to off and back to accessory. It's at 101. Let's see, what is 101? 101 is green. Green is actually 101 to 180. Let's go to a different shade of green. Let's go like 150. Right there, leave it there. And to save it, turn the ignition switch to off and back to accessory. So the color for the tack needle is saved. So to go to the next option, click the trip reset button, and we are back to the beginning. So we've gone through all the different features on this speedometer tack that you can change. To save everything, you just turn the ignition switch to the off position, or from where it's at to the ignition position, and everything will save. I'll go ahead and turn it off. And there's like a second delay, and then it shuts down. You can see I'll turn it back on, and all those colors will be there. Everything's saved. Next, I'll go ahead and remove the camera from the tripod and start this up so you can see the tack working. So that is how you configure the Harley Davidson Speedometer Tack, part number 70900070A. All the features that I showed you on this bike, this is a 2009 Harley Davidson Softail Custom, all the features available on the speedometer tach for this bike are not available on all the motorcycles this speedometer tach fits. For example, like a 2007 Softail Custom, you don't have the gear indicator feature. So, but anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, hope it was helpful, and thanks for watching.